If God is for us, then who the is against us? Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top. Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot. Buy back your block, real estate and stocks. Stack what you got, hold down your spot. Strike while you hot and think the man up top.
Conspiracy or not, strategize and plot.
Welcome to the Wealth Mindset with JD Garnier. Listen, you hear me talk about purpose a lot. And the reason why I think that's so important is because the world dictates to us how we should live, how we should think, and what we should do. And most times that dictation does not align with what is natural to us, what is inherent in us. And so unfortunately, so many people go through life listening to the world and never really listen to themselves. They never really listen to God's voice within themselves. And I've always defined purpose as God's original instruction in your life. So many times we want to connect or tie our purpose to our job, to our profession, to our business, to our paycheck. But those are structures created by man, and they have nothing to do with God's instruction. Your purpose is God's original instruction in your life. It is something that is inherent inside of you. It is something that is innate. It is something that is a culmination of everything that He's already given you. Your human capital is the sum total of your talents, abilities, gifts, ideas, habits, disciplines, and inclinations. You react a certain way to things. You think about things in a certain way. You have a certain inclination towards certain ideas, certain subjects. You're gifted in certain areas. All of those things make up the foundation of who you are. And it becomes your mission in life to use those things to figure out what it is that God is calling you to do. It's not anything complicated. It's not anything difficult. God's instructions are very simple. He called you to do something. He called you to lead. He called you to protect. He called you to teach. He called you to build. He called you to gather, to galvanize, to inspire, to empower. You were called to do something. In the beginning of our life, we don't really know what that is. In the beginning of our lives, we're trying to figure out what God gave us in the first place. We're trying to figure out what we can do. We're trying to figure out what value that means to the world. And a lot of times that can be confusing because the world can't give us direction. The world can't really tell us who we are because most people in the world are trying to figure out who they are. And so in the beginning, we are searching for what that instruction is. We're searching for what that calling is. And so many times we start on the outside. We start with what the world is telling us. We start with what society dictates that we should be, but that's the wrong place to start. I always say that change begins from within. And when you're trying to find your purpose, you have to look within. There's 5 P's of purpose, 5 ways to help you determine if you are on the right path and if you are living in your purpose. The first P is passion. When you are living in your purpose, when you are doing something towards your purpose or your original instruction, you are going to have a natural passion for it. You're going to have a natural fire for it. Nobody's going to have to motivate you. Nobody's going to have to push you. Nobody's going to have to tell you to set your alarm clock. Passion is its own motivation. You don't have to be persuaded when you are passionate about something. It is a natural fire. It ignites you, it motivates you, it inspires you. When you are passionate about something, you can't help it. And so if you don't have that passion, most times it is not something that's leading you towards your purpose. Passion is the first P. The second P is pride. When you are living in your purpose, you are prideful about the result. You're prideful about the outcome. You take pride in your work. When you're living in your purpose, you don't just put anything out there. You don't let any work represent who you are. When you're living in your purpose, you want your best work on display. You are prideful about the outcome. You put in all of the effort, all of the work ethic, because you care about the result. If you're doing something and you're not taking pride in it, if you're doing something and you are not prideful, you are not proud about your efforts in your work, you may not be living in your purpose. If you don't care what happens, you may not be living in your purpose. The second P of purpose is pride. The third P is principle. When you're living in your purpose, you are principled about the outcome. You're not going to take shortcuts. You have a standard. You have a discipline. When you are living in your purpose, you want to do things the right way. You want to cross every T. You want to dot every I. You are principled in the result because you care that much about the result. You don't want to cheat the process. You don't want to take shortcuts when you're living in your purpose because you understand that you are the only one that's going to pay for that. When I'm doing something and it is a part of my purpose, my reputation is on the line. I'm not taking any shortcuts. I'm not putting myself in a position to damage what I am building. I am principled with the results because it's a part of my purpose. It's my original instruction. That's the third P of purpose. The fourth P of purpose is peace. When you're living in your purpose, you just have a peace about it. Whether you're getting paid for it or not, whether it goes well or not, it is a part of who you are. It is your original instruction. And so when you are acting on it, when you are living in it, you're at peace. You're at peace because you're in alignment. You're doing what God called you to do. When I'm speaking in front of children, whether they're paying me or not to do it, I have a peace about it because I know this is what God wants me to do. When I'm inspiring people, when I'm motivating people, when I'm giving people words of encouragement, I have a peace about it because I know that I'm living in my purpose. I know that God is speaking through me. When they give me a microphone and they tell me to go and talk to these thousands of people, I don't have a nervous bone in my body because I know that I'm living in my purpose. So I'm at peace. That's how you know you're living in your purpose. And the last P that helps you understand whether or not you're living in your purpose is priority. What are you prioritizing? When you're living in your purpose, that comes before everything. It is prioritized before your pleasure. It is prioritized before your profession. It is prioritized before your paycheck. Your purpose is the guiding light that dictates your daily movement, that dictates your daily actions, that dictates your discipline. It is prioritized in your life, and everything else is structured around the thing that God called you to do, your original instruction. Once you know that, life is easy.